Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, blah, 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 to everybody. This is going to be a short one. I know I always say that, and I don't end up honoring it, and it rambles, but this one, I'm going to try to keep short. Okay, now that I got the intro out of the way, as always, if you're going through anything and you need to talk to someone, dial 988. That is the National Mental Health Crisis Hotline / suicide prevention. We need you. The world needs you. And if you're debating a permanent solution to a temporary problem, please get the help you need. Talk to the professionals. There's nothing embarrassing about it. Okay, Iowa recap. All the polls seemed to say that Haley was going to come in second. Someone predicted she wouldn't. Someone predicted it would be Trump, DeSantis, Haley, Ramaswamy. That wasn't the common thought going into yesterday. Now, who was it? Who was the person who went against the polls and made this alternative prediction? Oh, yeah, that was me. Yeah, I'm being stupid, I'm being obnoxious, but I'm good at this. Sorry. So when I say that I think Biden is on a road to a comfortable victory, laughing me off, go ahead at your whatever, because that's how I see things right now. But if I see things on a road to change in my electoral prediction, I have no problem saying I'm flipping on this because facts and circumstances have changed. As of right now, they have not. I believe Joe Biden will be winning easily in November. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, or maybe something will happen to change my prediction. I don't know. This is my prediction as of today. Now, I want to talk about two things coming out of Iowa. First of all, big winner and big loser. The big winner, there's really no other way, there's no way around it, is former President Donald Trump. And I say this because he surpassed the 50% threshold. And that's pretty remarkable. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. I did. But not a lot of people did. So to exceed that definitely shows that his base is strong and they will come out to support him. And the anti-Trump Republican faction, at least in Iowa, not as strong. Ramaswamy, though, is the big loser. Why? Not because he dropped out. Look, Christie dropped out, Pence dropped out, and I haven't deemed them to be the big losers of a night, but it's how he came in and how he came in so aggressive. Remember, no one knew who he was like 6 months ago. Then in the first debate, he said, "You're all bought off and paid for." And then he just got more obnoxious and more obnoxious and more obnoxious. And just was not likable. Along with just saying the most asinine things, like, "I'm going to shut down the FBI." Yeah, okay, you do that, buddy. "I'm going to shut down the CIA." You do that. Let me know how it works out. Oh, you're not going to do that because you're not going to be president. And he did everything he could to lick Donald Trump's boots. It just seemed like, he was going to be pro-Trump, and no matter what, Trump would never insult him because he treats him too well. You don't really know Donald Trump, Vivek? Because Donald Trump then on Sunday night threw a minimal amount of shade at him. For Trump, that is. Minimal amount of shade. Said he wasn't MAGA. He was sheep in wolf's clothing. Stuff like that. And Vivek cowered into nothing. his whole, let me go in the debate, I'll show them, holding up a sign, Nikki is corrupt, or going after Nikki Haley's door. All this courage he had against everybody else cowered into oblivion at the poorest of Trump insults. And just watching a bully cower like that, something I kind of take a little enjoyment in. And then this morning, how he announced he was suspending his campaign was like a rehearsed general election concession, like where he was handed the wrong script. Like, I've been doing, my people have met, and it's difficult for me to admit that we don't see a path towards the presidency anymore. That's fine. That's what they're supposed to say when they drop out of a primary. But I have called President Trump, lick, to congratulate him on his victory and wish him well. That doesn't happen in primaries and caucuses. You don't call the person who won and concede. That's what happens in the general election. Can you imagine if during the general election, after every state was called, one candidate called the other one, and they would have to do that? D.C., and then you got Maine and New Hampshire, like 55 times, 55 different conversations. It was like he was handed the wrong script. And then this morning he did a YouTube video from his car. I know, I've done YouTube videos from my car. I wasn't a billionaire running for president. Expectations are higher. Just such a loser. And I love it. Now, people have asked me, do you think there's a chance Trump could lose the nomination? I'm going to break that into two different questions. Could he? Yes, of course. And I'll tell you the method of how he could. Will he? Probably not. I'm pretty sure he's getting the Republican nomination. I mean, let's just call a spade here. But this is how he could lose it. But you would need DeSantis and Haley to work together, which they're not going to do. So this idea is DOA, but this is how they could. Now, they both have huge egos and they both want the nomination. So it goes without saying that I don't believe that either of them would be willing to drop out. So what they could do is form an alliance where in every state that looks like it's going to go to Haley, the DeSantis tells his people to vote for Haley. In turn, if there's a state that looks like it's going to go to DeSantis, and by the way, by go to, I mean get second place, Haley would tell all her supporters to vote for DeSantis. This would be in an effort to prevent Trump from getting 50%. Because going into the convention, when the delegates vote, if a nominee does not get 50% or more of the delegates in the first ballot, the delegates are no longer tied to who the populace of the state they represent has chosen in the primary or caucus. So, if they could bring this to the convention, and even if Trump gets 49.99998% of the delegates, it would go to a second ballot. And at the second ballot, that's where you bring out the old men and cigars and backroom deals. And that's how Trump could be blocked from getting the nomination. Now, keep in mind, I believe this is fiction. I do not foresee this happening, but that would be the method to do it. But it's not going to happen. Trump's going to get the nomination and lose in grand form in the general election, as I see things right now. Also, little side note. You notice, like, a bunch of his lawyers quit today because he wasn't paying them? Like, this guy is such a scumbag. Like, I don't know. I need to go on a Trump rant. Now's not the time, but I just don't get it. Like, if you take the epitome of every negative thing in a person and put them all together, you kind of get Donald Trump. And don't get me wrong, Joe Biden is not without his faults. But he's nothing like that. Nothing. Nikki Haley, I don't agree with politically at all. Nothing like that. DeSantis, I honestly, personally do not like. I think his views are somewhat racist and sexist, and he's just a general ick person. But compared to that, DeSantis all day. Compared to a genital wart all day over Trump. I just don't get how people are still supporting him and how he convinces people to vote against their financial interests. Because keep in mind, a vote for Trump is not a vote for the farmers in Iowa at all. It's a vote for the rich corporate tycoons who are going to take advantage of the farmers in Iowa. Whatever, I'm going on a rant. So, what's my prediction on New Hampshire? My prediction on New Hampshire is, you're going to have to wait and see. Because, I'm not ready yet. I want to give you a solid prediction based on my research and analysis, of which I have not done yet. But don't get, it'll be made before the election, and chances are it'll be right, even if the polls say otherwise. Now, I've noticed, because it's my show, that when I started this endeavor on YouTube, I really invited you all into my personal life. And just recently, with everything going on politically, I've sort of stepped back from my personal life into the world of politics. Well, tomorrow, we're going to put politics aside. We're going to put political opinions aside. We're going to put movie reviews aside. And I'm going to let you all know what is going on with me. I'm going to let you in a little bit. But that'll be tomorrow. So, we are going to wrap this up with the second edition of Conclusion Happy. And tonight, my Conclusion Happy is going to be, we have the debut on CBS at 12:37 a.m., so technically tomorrow, of After Midnight with Taylor Tomlinson, who is going to be the youngest late-night host ever, and only the second female late-night host ever. The first one being Joan Rivers, and unfortunately, due to a feud she had with Johnny Carson, it didn't end well. So I'm a big Taylor Tomlinson fan. I'm excited about watching this, and I just really know she's going to do awesome, and I'm just really excited. So my conclusion happy today is the fact that we get the first episode ever in what hopefully will be a long, successful late-night career of Taylor Tomlinson of After Midnight with Taylor Tomlinson. And that is my conclusion happy for the day. And I kept this under 15 minutes. Love you. And tomorrow I'll be inviting you back into what's going on in my life. I'm taking a day off politics. In Taylor Swift, we trust.